Over.
Your favorite finance.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Is Lowell still there?
You're talking to me?
Okay, I'm gonna go check with James. Thank you. All right, I want to welcome everybody back to the Marathon County Infrastructure Committee meeting. We had a brief recess for some fire safety, but the building is still standing. So let's continue on with our agenda. Next on the agenda is 7C CCIT projects update. I'll hand it over to Mr. Klein.
Good morning. There's information in the packet. We just kind of wrapped up finishing the adaptive budgeting software. I don't have, I mean, the next big thing we're doing is some security changes that'll be pretty much in the background. The only thing that people will see from that is we'll be bringing forward a new self-service password reset tool that I think is scheduled in about the last week of October.
All right.
Any questions on any of the projects in the packet?
Supervisor Jensen?
Thank you. The only question I have is on it's line 33, the bug tussle fiber. It's mentioned in there that the goal is to complete purchasing by the, we'll get purchase orders out in November. And I'm wondering, we've got additional topics and things that are going to be coming to the full county board regarding those particular projects. So
Yeah, this is a little different. This is the piece of fiber that they already have in the ground from Brokaw goes up and goes across over through Hamburg and then down to Athens, out to out to Colby Abbey, over to our tower on 29, and then down to the Stratford Highway shop. That piece, that fiber is in place except for two small sections. And it's our intention to light up. We have 24 strands inside of that. So that part we should be able to build this winter. And so that equipment is that regardless of what they do with the rest of their project, we can keep moving on that piece of it.
okay, thank you.
And what we want to do is we want to get to Jim's highway shop. That's our priority. His Stratford highway shop has historically had really bad internet connection. So we want to get to there. On the way, we will serve a couple of law enforcement solutions up on Rainbow Drive. They want to broadcast fire paging up there. And then the Hamburg Tower will rebroadcast some law enforcement radio frequencies. And then at the 29 Wayside, we will replace our microwave backhaul for when officers are in our Wi-Fi antenna underneath it. And that happens a lot. If you're a sheriff's deputy or you're on the far west side of county, they'll drive into the parking lot underneath there and use our Wi-Fi, check mail, upload video from recent car accidents, body-worn cameras, squad car stuff, and that we'll be able to increase the speed of that substantially.
Okay, thank you. Just wasn't sure if there was anything dependent on the new construction.
It's a great
projects.
question. But it doesn't really have anything to do with what's going on with the loans for those guys because they've already built almost all of that fiber.
Thank you.
Yep.
Wonderful. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, which is meeting attendance and notice. So, and kind of probably not on hearing the right people here today, but if you're going to miss a meeting, please let us know so that we can ensure that we have quorum and things like that. It's very important so that we don't have situations like today where we're running late and not running on time. So we want to be respectful of everybody's time. I don't know. I think I'll reach out to some of the supervisors that were unexcused from today, and we'll touch base on that. So thank you for that. Next is highway update. Let's get an update from Jim.
Thank you. We are wrapping up our major work for the summer. We did a little lift. We're starting to do some finishing up work for WISDOT on Highway 52. Put a little overlay on there, and Highway 97 down by Marshfield, Stratford, doing the routing and crack filling. But the only big project we have left, which we're starting on Monday, is a deep culvert on County Trunk Highway just north of 29. We have work and contact everybody in the industrial park due to that. The deep project is probably going to be a 2-week closure on that section of Highway O. With that, we had our in-house training yesterday. All day long, we had speakers talking about salt usage. Lance came down to address the troops. We had Molly talk about some HR things going on. Went through some equipment, and we had our driving course set up yesterday. So that was yesterday, and then the shop, we are preparing for winter, putting plows on, taking axles off, putting other bodies on. So.
Nice. Any questions for Jim? Hearing none, we thank you for the update, Jim. Next on the agenda is 7F, BEAD update. We'll turn it over to our broadband team.
Good morning. BEAD is currently in the stage. We just completed the letters of interest that internet service providers were supposed to submit in order to proceed in BEAD. So what we are all waiting on now is for the PSC to release their project units, which they are going to group together addresses that are eligible for BEAD as one block that people can apply, as separate blocks that ISPs can apply for. The holdup for that is that they need to have their BEAD eligible BSL list approved by the NTIA. So they're waiting on that. The moment they have it, they are going to release their project units, and then internet service providers will begin to discuss where they want to apply and identify where they want to apply. It's a tight timeline. Supervisor Robinson distributed a timeline that was released by the PSC. It's estimated because, again, it's all determined by when the project units are released. What's relevant is that for us as the county and as townships is community engagement. So part of the BEAD process is that an internet service provider will seek engagement from the community and the county on their project. Because they are not able to identify where they're going to apply yet, they can't move forward. We can't move forward with that process. So we have a pretty tight timeline. We are meeting with the PSC next week, John and Jerry and I, to discuss that timeline because it looks like it's going to be pretty tight, both for the internet service providers and for communities to engage in the process. We will keep you posted. We are attending the Eastern and Western Towns Association meetings to give them an update and to provide some information for what towns can do when the time starts coming, because it'll be a tight window for communities to engage and support. There's 2 levels. There's the community engagement, which is letters of support and a decision among a township of whether or not they're going to give financial support to the project. And then the second stage is a county endorsement of certain projects. We can only you can endorse more than one project, but that doesn't really do anything. You want to endorse one project per project unit, if that makes sense, because otherwise it's a level playing field for everyone. So I have reached out to the ISPs to determine if they're still moving forward with BEAD. Some have chosen not to apply for BEAD. And I am talking with them, and then we're trying to figure out identify the best strategy for engaging the townships. But what will probably happen is in December, at every committee meeting, we will bring forward the projects we think are valid for support, and that will be decided through the broadband task force. Okay. And then we'll bring it through each committee and then bring it to the December 17th county board meeting for approval, because as of this timeline that we have today, that's the deadline for getting county support. That's a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions? John's going to add something.
So again, this is the process by which the state will allocate the $1.055 billion that's available for broadband expansion through the Broadband Equity and Access Deployment Program. So there will be, this is the initial round for fiber to the premise. The second round will be for fixed wireless. The third round will be for other technologies. Unfortunately, no contracts will be awarded until they're through the third or potentially the fourth round, which deals with community anchor institutions, which effectively delays any work until 2026, which is, I think, a disappointment to a lot of people. So we are meeting with Alyssa Kenny next Tuesday to get a better understanding of the scoring relative to other projects and how this might work and how we can strengthen the applications. And again, Aaron is reaching out to the internet service providers who's provided letters of intent to move forward, and we will try to focus in to make sure that all of the county is addressed in one way and look for opportunities for us and other local units of government to participate in that process.
Any questions on the BEAD update? Hearing none, thank you. Move on to our next item, which is 7G, update on terms of potential broadband expansion loan agreement between Marathon County and Bug Tussle. Supervisor Robinson.
So you have in your packet a overview of sort of the terms or the general overview of some of the things that are under discussion between Marathon County and Bug Tussle. At the August County Board meeting, we delayed action on conduit bonding with the thought that we would evaluate the use of other funding sources, including the potential use of reserves. As a result of that, we've had some discussions with Bug Tussle. The original request was for approximately $12.5 billion of conduit bonding, where Marathon County would guarantee it and in turn secure collateralize that loan. I think there were some concerns about the amount of capitalized interest and overhead costs, so we began discussing the project with Bug Tussle. They requested $8.5 million of reserves. We said the cap is $8 million based upon the discussions that we've had with the county board, and we've proceeded accordingly. And $5 million is for the completing of the 2021 project, which was a conduit bonding project to lay 190 miles of fiber and construct 16 towers, and $3 million was for the Leather Camp project, which is fiber to the premise, serving portions of Gunther, Croninwater, and Knowlton. We are looking at using reserves to fund them, and they would be drawn down as they're expended. It's not an outright, we don't give them $8 million up front. We give them $8 million, up to $8 million once the project is done, with first interest being being payable on October 1st of 2025. We're looking at a 5.4% interest rate, which is consistent with what we're getting through the local government investment fund. Those interest rates will probably come down based on some of the action of the feds, but this is locked in. They would make interest-only payments for the first 5 years, and then interest and principal payments for the next 10 years, with a balloon based on a 30-year amortization schedule, with a balloon payment after the 15th year or the 10th year of the principal and interest payments. The advantage of this is that we're funding a significantly lower amount, the $8 million versus the $12.5. We continue to have the collateral and we're securing our interest, and I think it's a perhaps a better approach than what we did with the conduit bonding.
Does anybody have any questions on that update? Sounds like it's just an update at this point. We'll have a lot further discussion. Would you anticipate that be November meeting?
We're hoping to bring it in actually in October. The direction from the county board was to bring it back. We had hoped that we would have a finalized agreement, but because of Bug Tussel's involvement in providing letters of intent for the bead, and we've not been able to complete the discussions. I know that the Corporation Counsel's office is trying to iron out some of the details on a couple of the terms relative to the UCC, the collateralization, just to make sure that we're secured.
Okay.
And we're, again, looking, if we can't get it done, we'll ask for an extension.
Wonderful. Any further questions, comments on that update? Hearing and seeing none, we're going to move on to item 8, next meeting date, time, and announcements and future agenda items. 8A, committee members are asked to bring ideas for future discussions. Does anybody wish to bring anything forward? Seeing, hearing none, let's move on to item 8B, next meeting, Thursday, November 7th, 2024 at 9 a.m. And up for item number 9, adjournment. Who wants to make that motion? Supervisor Jensen with the motion. And
Motion.
Second by Vol. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed?
Aye.
Nobody ever is. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Right.